Alright, put yourself in this position. You stroll through Azeroth, minding your own business, and happen to come across a rare mob. Excitedly, you engage it in mortal combat and eventually actually slay it. Eagerly, you approach the cadaver, fantasizing about the untold riches you're about to loot off your slain foe. But when you get to looting it, you realize all you got is some lousy green stamina spirit off the whale gear that no one actually wants. So you do what you always do. With a sigh of disappointment, you hit up the mailbox and send it to your bank alt for disenchanting. If you've played WoW for any significant amount of time, you have probably been in this situation before, as have I, which is why today we take a look at rare mobs and ask the question, are WoW Classic rare mobs a lie? Technically, obviously not. They're real. Well, as real as virtual can be, but are they truly rare? By definition, yeah, obviously. However, as we all know, green items are labeled as uncommon, blue ones are labeled as rare. So should they rather be called uncommon mobs given the amount of greens they seem to drop constantly? With that, I would like to welcome you back to another episode of Answering Questions Nobody Actually Asked with yours truly. Hear me out though, you might be surprised to find there are 334 rare mobs in Classic WoW, give or take a few, I counted, just for you. Out of those 334, to my knowledge, only 13 actually drop blue, which means rare, find on equip items. The more you know, huh? So next time you come across a rare, don't get too excited. It might just drop boring, generic green stuff. But to prepare you for your next rare encounter and help you manage that inevitable disappointment when that soul-crushing random stat green BoE drops instead of whatever fancy stuff you imagined, I have compiled a list of all 14 WoW Classic rare mobs that do, in fact, drop rare items, and afterwards we will try to answer the question, why? Why only 14 out of 334? Well, I have a theory, but before we get to that, let me preface the video by saying that this list is probably exhaustive, and I try to be as diligent as possible compiling it, but if I forgot any obvious ones, please let me know in the comments. Alright, let's start this list off at, well, number 1 obviously, and number 1 is Gesher, who stalks the pool of water in the verdant, lush water oasis in the Barrens, right outside Wailing Caverns. His loot table consists of a green item that is unique to him, Shiverblade, a two-handed sword, and, probably more interestingly, pulsating Hydra Heart, which is one of the lowest level offhand held items that increase spell power in a specific school of magic, fire in this case. A fun fact about that, Gesher is also present in the alpha version, and there, the pulsating Hydra Heart provides the caster with an increase to nature damage rather than fire, which seems to fit the theme a bit better. Moving on. Right next to Gesher, close to the dungeon portal for Wailing Caverns, awaits Bowen, a druid of the Fang. The reason why he is lurking in the caverns outside rather than be with his brethren inside the dungeon is not known. He does, however, drop a very nice rare two-hand axe, Bowen's Fang, as well as some less exciting unique green leather pants. The axe itself is a little bit fast for my taste, but the DPS it provides for level 15 is quite incredible. 9 strength is nothing to scoff at either, and Spirit will help you cut down on that pesky downtime in between fights, which is nice while leveling. Owen is, by the way, also already present in the WoW Alpha version 0.5.3. Next up, Trier the Lasher, another Hydra and another occupant of the Wailing Caverns. He is actually right next to Bowen, overlooking the central pool of water in the final cavern that also holds the dungeon portal. Trigor is decked out with Serpent's Kiss, another amazing weapon, this time a one-hand axe with the same speed as Bowen's Fang, and a poison on-hit proc. Less excitingly, he also drops a rune scale girdle, which provides 5 strength. For our next entry, we have to look to Northern Darkshore. Lady Vespera, the Naga Sea Witch, roams the ruins of Methystra, preying on wary travelers. She drops an amazing low-level ring, which you might have seen go for pretty decent money on the auction house before, especially if you play Alliance. The Black Pearl ring, which doesn't have the greatest stats per se, but again, Spirit is alright while leveling, and for level 17, it's definitely a nice pickup. Vespera also drops the Spikelash Dagger, an alright green. Next up, partner in crime to the Foe Reaper 4000, Voltros stalks the countryside of Westfall. His name pretty much tells you everything you need to know. A huge, hungry vulture that actually prefers live prey over carrion, much to the dismay of many an unsuspecting adventurer. Voltros drops the Talon of Vultures, a very nice rare dagger for level 21, and also drops the Feathered Cape, another unique green BoE. A cunning Shadowhide Gnoll and servant of the warlock Morganth, Ro the Silent stalks around the Tower of Ilgalar in eastern Redridge. he drops the famed Black Venom Blade, another rare dagger with a chance to proc a poison effect on your target and some added nature damage on your auto hits. Interestingly enough, the Wowhead tooltip for this item, which I'm showing on screen right now, does not show the added nature damage, so you will just have to take my word for it. I don't know why it's not showing up in the Wowhead tooltips, but this is something that will come up again later on in the video with our final entry to this list. Ro also drops the Cloak of Night, a unique green cloak, and I have to say shout out to him for inspiring me to make this video, because I got the idea while questing in Redridge for my hardcore mage and actually ran into him, and having no idea the guy existed before that, almost died to him, but I managed to get him down, and I got the blade, which I managed to sell for about 20 gold on the auction house, which is pretty decent for such a low level blue, I would say. Anyways, with Ro out of the way, our next candidate is Iron Eye, a black-scaled basilisk that roams the Shimmering Flats. Should one manage to best the beast, an interesting reward awaits. The Blade of the Basilisk, a quite fast sword that can be wielded in both main and offhand, which has an on-hit chance of increasing the wielder's defense stat by 33 for 5 seconds. I guess this item is the definition of situational, or useless if you will, apart from its damage stats, which are quite alright. From the salty Shimmering Flats, we make our way to the snow-topped peaks of the Alterac Mountains. Here, not one, but two rares await. One of them is Scowl, a hulking dark-furred yeti who has a chance of dropping the Howling Blade, a pretty nice and quite fast dagger which has a chance of reducing the target's attack power by 30, and if you get unlucky, the feathered headdress. And I suppose okay headpiece, providing 10 intellect and 9 spirit, although only to characters capable of using leather armor. Neighboring Crush-Rich Ogres harbor Low Grosh, and Low Grosh is unique even by rare mob standards, because he has not one but two blue BoEs on his table, one being the Pacifier, an incredibly amazing super slow two-hand ace. I mean, look at those stats. A speed of 4, 32.5 DPS, and 18 strength on that bad boy. Sign me up. And not only that, this guy truly seems to love warriors. His other item are the Black Ogre Kickers, which provide 6 strength and 13 stamina on a level 32 boot item. Not bad at all. A bit less excitingly, he also drops the Boulder Pads, some strength spirit leather shoulders, which are kinda meh. The next entry on our list? Mithrathis the Enchanter, a forest troll that calls Jinta Alor, I swear these names by the way, in the hinterlands his home. Mithrathis the Enchanter is the one and only source of Chance Imperial robes. A nice rare robe which provides 20 stamina, 10 int, 10 spirit, and perhaps less importantly, 5 nature resistance. It is also one of the uniquer models in the game. Back when I still played retail, the item was quite sought after by people for transmog. I included a screenshot taken off Wowhead because this guy is probably the most fabulous Tauren I've ever seen, and also to show off the actual model of Chance Imperial robes. Under the scorching Tanaris sun, Omgor the Lost can be found either in the Dune Mall compound or at some of the ogre-infested ruins in the southern parts of the zone. He has adventurous but one thing to offer, the bite of his axe. Or actually, two things, for if you manage to best him, you will be rewarded with the Changuk Smasher, a decent mace with kind of weird stats. I guess it's a priest item or something. Far below Azeroth's surface, close to the dungeon entrance to the infamous Blackrock Depths, a towering monstrosity known as the Behemoth keeps the Dark Iron Laborers in check. He is known for dropping the Violent Slicer, a wholly unremarkable and pretty useless fist weapon, but it is a unique nonetheless. We're nearing the end of our list, and there are only 2 entries missing, both of which drop rare blue weapons for quite high levels. First off, General Fangfarer, or Fangy as I like to call him because we are actually on speaking terms, as I used to call Ashara my second home on my warrior during Classic. Since the zone is so damn empty, I can probably say the amount of times I've killed this guy is somewhere in the double digits, and more often than not I was rewarded with Junhu's Mercy, a decent but somewhat fast one-handed sword with a chance of blasting your target for 70 arcane damage on hit. So whenever you're close to Ashara, it's worth checking out his Sanctum in the ruins of Alarath, because it fetches an acceptable price on the auction house. Last, but certainly not least, Eastern Plaguelands resident Lord Darkscythe, proud owner of the famed Takirthan Songblade, a pretty cool two-hand katana which, although it has no stats to speak of, is still unique. It adds some amount of arcane damage to your hits, which, again, is not reflected in the Wowhead tooltip shown on screen. Overall, a pretty cool item. Well, that's it. Those are the rare mobs in WoW Classic that drop actual rare items. Now for the question of this video. Why? why are there only 13 out of 334 that drop rare unique BoEs? The answer, I think, lies in the game design itself, because a lot of those mobs, such as Gesharahan, Boan, and Logrosh, were already present in the World of Warcraft Alpha 0.5.3. Logrosh, for example, we saw in the Exploring Alterac Mountains video. And they already have their unique loot table. So what I think happened is that they started designing these rare mobs and they wanted to give them all unique rare BoEs, but they realized that they're gonna make so many rare mobs in the whole game that it would just be wasted development effort to give all of them unique rare BoEs. So they ended up giving the other ones green BoEs that, have random stat rolls. Anyways, this is obviously just a theory, but it's the most logical explanation that I can give for this. I would just like to say thank you for watching if you have indeed watched this far. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, or if you even learned something, I don't know, consider leaving a like or perhaps even subscribing, because it does go a long way to help growing my channel, and that would be awesome. So take care, and I wish you a great day wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching.